I'm sure you probably either heard of or have done yourself, kids that would at nighttime, they would get a jar and they would look for those like lightning bugs. I think people call them lightning bugs, but I think they're also called fireflies. And they light up at night, and what they'll do is they're so fascinated with the light from these bugs that they'll chase them around and try to capture them in the jars and close the lid. And that way they can look at the lightning bugs or fireflies, whatever, and watch them glow in the jar. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is that if you leave them in the jar for too long, they end up dying. Whenever you have a free spirit, you'll have this glow about you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people will be attracted to it. They'll want to be near it. They'll want to grab as much of the energy that they can as possible from it. They'll always want to chase it around and they're fascinated with it. But you just tend to attract people that want to be around your light. Unfortunately, there are going to be some people that not only do they want to be near it, but they want to capture it. So they'll want to capture you like in a relationship or something like that and kind of like trap you. But the problem is that they don't realize that the more that they're around you and your light, the more that it reminds them of the lack of light that they have within themselves, the lack of the free spirit they have in themselves. So instead of learning, how to be free spirited or digging deeper into why they feel like they don't have any type of freedom within themselves, and maybe even bringing you along in that journey with them, they will turn it around and make it a negative thing. They'll start to shame you. They'll start to get mad at you for being free spirited. It can turn into like verbal abuse, physical abuse, all of that, simply because they don't know how to be as free spirited as you are. They don't know where that confidence comes from. They don't know where that light comes from. They don't know how to obtain it. And even if they were able to obtain it, they wouldn't even know how to handle it or deal with it. So the easiest thing that they know is like anger, negativity. And instead of learning or digging deeper inside of them, because healing is always going to be hurtful. It's going to be painful. And to avoid that pain, what's going to be easiest is to lash the pain out on whoever it is that is free spirited, that has that light. And when you do that long enough, that spirit in the other person is going to eventually die. So what ends up happening is they get mad at you because you no longer, your light no longer shines. It'd be similar to somebody like if a child had lightning bugs or fireflies in a jar and those bugs died because they were in the jar for too long, and then that child starts screaming at them because they're no longer shining. I mean, they're dead. They're not going to shine anymore. That's pretty much what the abuse is like. And because the light is no longer shining, the narcissistic person is going to start looking for more fireflies. They're going to go out there and look for more fireflies. And so it is definitely unfortunate, but the best thing that you can do, because narcissistic abuse is usually something that is extremely hard to explain to somebody else. What happens is that person will take as much of the light that free-spirited person had. They will take as much of that light as possible and display it as if they had it the entire time. They'll start taking the goals that you've had. They'll say that it was because of them that you've reached goals. They'll start taking kind of like destiny swapping. If they feel like, they'll try to make you feel like whatever your goal is or whatever you're trying to do in your career that you can't do it, but they'll try to do it themselves. They will suck as much energy as possible out of you. And when you go out and about, you can kind of tell this because one of them will be the one that everyone loves, right? The one that is positive, that everyone is getting along with, that they love to talk to. And then that other one is just there and is really quiet. right? And people are like, what is up with your wife, or what is up with your husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, they used to be talking all the time. Like, they used to talk all the time. They used to be smiling all the time. They used to be fun. What happened to them? And the narcissistic person will say, oh, he's just tired, she's just tired, whatever it is, right? Making up these excuses and not not explaining that they just yelled or hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they put their hands on you or something like that, few hours prior to the event. So it's stuff like that. And I know that a lot of people are like, you got to just leave. But what happens is that people that have narcissistic traits will prey on those that are free spirited, that have a lot of, that are confident in themselves, and but also don't have a lot of support. They may not have a lot of support around them. The moment that you tell them something about, like, yeah, I've got older brothers, or I've got, my dad is in my life, and all of this stuff, they tend to fall away. If they see that you have a strong support system, they tend to fall away. What they're looking for is somebody that doesn't really have much of a support system, because that lightning bug or that firefly would be easy to control. And so yeah, it can be, and it gets hard to explain to people about the abuse, because you're trying to explain it to people who love that person, and the first thing they'll say is, what? No, I could never see them being that way. They would never do that. I don't even see them, they're whatever. And it ends up causing you to feel like you're crazy. It makes you look like you're crazy. So the best thing that you can do, there's no way of trying to explain your way out of it. There's no way of trying to reason your way out of it. The best thing to do is to walk away, to leave. No matter how you have to do it, it has to be done. There isn't, and there's no, I know that there's a lot of people that are going to be like, wondering if, does that narcissistic person ever care? They don't. They don't care. You have to think about how many times you tried offering therapy to them. Even if they agreed to go to therapy, oh, my hair is just, oh, sorry. Even if they agreed to go to therapy, they're going to figure out a way to misconstrue what the therapist is saying, or twist the words around, or to make it seem like, the therapist is on their side. All of that. It's just going to be, there's no changing that type of person. So, yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with. You want to definitely deal with no contact. Like, you want to have no contact with that person all around, and do a lot of research. There was a point in my life where I'm just going to say I did extensive research on narcissistic abuse. And it all led to one thing. There is nothing you can do but walk away, leave. That's it. And so, yeah, that would probably be, I thought about that, the lightning bug, or depending on where you live, is how they say whether it's a lightning bug or a firefly. But yeah, that's pretty much how it is. They are attracted to your free spirit. They're attracted to your glow. They're attracted to your light, and they want it for themselves. They want the light. They don't want the firefly part, the part that, is left over. They want the light. And they will do whatever they can to get it, trap it, and once the light is done, they move on to the next one. So anyway, let me know if you have ever dealt with narcissistic abuse. I know some of y'all that have that follow my channel, and have watched my videos have talked about it in the comments before. And I pray that if you haven't already healed from it, that you do find healing, because it really is a hard thing to get through. I mean, it's not just like physical, it's mental, emotional, psychological abuse. And it is so sad that people with those kind of traits prey on those that are just being themselves, that are authentic, that are out being bold, that are free-spirited, that just love life, that just want to make a difference in the world. And I don't know, they want it for themselves, but they don't want to actually do the work